Uncrewed aerial systems or drones are disruptive technology that are reshaping industries worldwide. Drone use is increasing rapidly, and it's my mission to make drone science entertaining and accessible. Before we start, I want to share something that can transform your drone program. We've worked with over 50 enterprise programs and found the exact factors that separate struggling operations from those that deliver millions in ROI. We've put these insights into our free Enterprise Drone Program Maturity Assessment. It's a $2,500 value. It's designed to show you your program's maturity stage, reveal your top 3 quick wins, and give you a roadmap for growth. Don't miss out on this free opportunity. The link is in the description.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Do You Know Drones podcast. Jason San Souci, your host, autistic drone scientist. I am here with Robb Monkman, the Chief Marketing Officer of Teal, which I'm ashamed to admit, I had to Google y'all guys. And I was like, I thought I knew who you were. And then I realized last night when my wife corrected me, she's like, that's not who they are. I'm like, what do you mean that's not who they are? You're like, did you even look at his LinkedIn profile? I'm like, yeah, he works for Teal. He's all like, they make drones. I'm like, no, they don't. He's like, they do like eSIM. They connect all the thing. I'm like, no, they don't. Looked him up this morning. I'm like, wow. Yeah, well, that's dumb. Thanks for correcting me once again, my love. So on this podcast, micro podcast, to be clear, we have one question, only one.
All right.
First, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hopefully this will be an exhilarating 10 minutes.
Absolutely. And by the way, people confuse us for Teal drones all the time.
Oh my God, thank God.
So no worries.
Okay. Woo! I was all like, no, it's this. And you're like, it's not even the same logo. I'm like, yeah, that's my bad. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, cool. Well, actually, way cooler. And please feel free to weave this into your response, which I'm sure people have figured out how to do before. I am very curious because I like these controversial questions. They're a little clickbaity, and they also get people really kind of thinking look, I've been in this industry for 15 years. Mm-hmm. What is something that you believe that this industry, you can pick on segments, you can pick on people, you can pick on yourself, you can pick on whatever, they're still doing wrong? What is one thing we're still doing wrong?
That's a great question. From our view, our lens at Teal, one thing that seems to be an afterthought or sort of this invisible requirement is connectivity. And so we work in helping to enable beyond visual line of sight drone operations. And a lot of drone companies maybe they're using RF, right? Maybe they're using satellite. Maybe they're using some form of cellular connectivity, but they're not thinking about it holistically. And when you're piloting a drone beyond visual line of sight, redundancy and failover is absolutely critical. And so recognizing that in certain areas on the edge, satellite's going to be more beneficial, RF's going to be beneficial, but in your city, your urban landscapes, maybe you've got DFR, public safety types of applications, cellular is going to be your go-to. But it goes deeper than that, right? Because even with cellular, here in the United States, AT&T isn't going to work everywhere, right? And so you're going to need that failover and that redundancy to bounce between cellular networks as well, because we want to make sure that these missions are successful and that drones have maximum uptime always.
I think that makes sense. And part of the conversation that I've had much of experience with is these austere applications that are out in the rural nowhere. And I know rural broadband's a thing now, but still is a long time in the offing. Cellular networks, while expanding, are still sort of, at least for going 5G, is still very small and not very expansive. And connectivity in some of these areas, even in rural areas, especially in rural areas, is complicated.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because that's where the FAA is showing, look, you guys are cool out there. You're fine. And you're like, I can tell you from experience, we're not fine. Mm-hmm. There's areas where I'm absolutely 1,000% going to lose my drone before I lose connectivity with my drone before I lose sight of it.
That's right.
Which is well, that seems dumb, but it's also true. So these are real problems. And I think what it does, at least for companies like Teal, is it opens up a massive opportunity, especially with beyond visual line of sight applications actually really kind of almost here, right? 15 years ago when BVLOS was something that people went after and said, hey, you know what? We're going to be able to do BVLOS in 6 months. Give us hundreds of millions of dollars, VC. 6 months later, nothing. 15 years later, still nothing, but coming. So, you know, it's frustrating, but it's also, it's kind of a second chance for the overall industry. So it's something that we're like, okay, so now that we have this bird in the hand. Now, how do we care for it? What do we do with it? How do we best position it? How do we best equip it? What are all these things? And what's really interesting about the NPRM, and I've had lots of conversations about this, obviously, is the FAA has really sort of opened up their kimono a little bit and like pulled back a few of the 7 veils that they like to throw in front of everything and said, we've specifically asked questions in there. Like we really do want answers. These are not things that we need to know these things. Like, and we need to understand them from your specific point of view. And we want you to think holistically, just like you said. I think that's really important. Thinking holistically is very important because people here, at least when you get to an expo like this and you have tons of equipment and they're shining things and beeping things and you're like, wow, that's really cool. But like, what am I going to do with that? Like, you got to be able to back up and go one level higher and say, what are the actual outcomes that I'm going after?
Yes.
Then pull together the right pieces and parts, tools that you need to accomplish that outcome.
Correct.
Yeah. So I do think that, to agree with you, I do kind of think that's still something that the industry is getting wrong. The opportunity to get it right, especially in the C2 area, would be massive. Like, and I think being that we are today, where we are now, on the verge of this proposed rule, I think this is something that Teal could be very well positioned to be how much of a connector within the industry do you kind of view your role?
Oh, it's massive, right? And so when you think about this, we keep saying holistic. Cellular isn't a silver bullet. There's places on the edge where satellite's going to be better, where RF mesh is going to be better. But in the areas like city environments, cellular is going to be much more beneficial. And so we always want to think of it as an and. It's not an or.
I like it.
And for Teal, right, we are the network orchestration piece of all of this. So when it comes to cellular connectivity, we've got more network operator agreements in place than anyone, period. Here I am plugging Teal. But it's true because you need the ability to connect onto networks and be able to switch between them to have that failover in case there is an outage or in case there is a dead zone to make sure, again, that your drones are operational.
Well, bravo, Maestro.
Oh, thank you.
Like I said, micro podcast. Those are my questions. I actually had 2. I usually only have 1. But I definitely appreciate you joining me on the show, Rob. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like to continue the conversation. Otherwise, you know what? We'll catch y'all on the next episode, the Do You Know Drones podcast, live, Commercial UAV Expo. We'll see you.